Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are scrapbooking using this sketch. Now I am going to be changing this bad boy around. I'm doing a 6x12 layout, one photo. I just decided that I wanted to scrapbook this photo of this duck at Disneyland, and I really don't need it to be a big 12x12 page. Plus I have a 6x12 paper in an album that I need to do a layout on the other side of it. So this is going to be that. Now it is day 9 of 100 sketchy videos, and it is also day 8 of Follow a Sketch February. So let's see what I can do. Now this might seem a little bit weird if you don't know our family. So our family names all the birds and wildlife that we see in Disney World. And when we saw this duck, Lana and I looked at each other and we were like, how in the world did Wayne get all the way over here? Because Wayne is a duck in Disney World. So we had a good laugh about this. And honestly, every time we saw a duck, we were like, Wayne! Like, travels coast to coast. That girl can go. And yes, Wayne is a girl duck. Now, I am taking the Pinwheel stencil from Scrapping Reflections, and I'm taking 2 shades of blue. These are 2 inks from Close to My Heart. One is Carolina and one is Bluebird. And I'm just going to use my blending brush from Pink and Maine to go ahead and blend some blue colors. So you do see some lighter bits and you also see some darker bits. Now I am going to cover up a lot of this, but that is okay. It is totally fine to cover that up. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want Wayne's photo to go. Ultimately, I decide that she needs to be cut down a little bit. So instead of a 4x6 photo, I now have a 3x5 photo. I'm using my little Tonic Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer. I love this little sucker. It is such a good little trimmer when you are doing the small things. I know that it's big in card making, so I'm not a huge card maker, but I do love it for the smaller bits. It's perfect for 6x6 papers, seriously. Now I'm figuring I gotta do some lines up at the top because, you know, that's what's in the sketch. So I'm going to pull out my Rainbow Slimline paper pack from Brutus Monroe. I decide to go with this shade of blue. I just was kind of looking at the varying shades of blue that I had in the pack and figured which one looked the best. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that down to 6 inches. And then I look at this and I'm like, what in the world did I do? I realized when I cut down this piece of paper, I did not cut it down to 6 inches. I cut it down to 6.5. So that was a whoops kind of moment right there. So I took my 6-inch piece of dot paper, placed it down on top of my other paper, and then trimmed it down that way. Now I'm going to layer some washi tape over here, and I do layer it with 2 pieces, and what that's going to do is just giving me a stronger line of washi tape, and it's going to go ahead and show those little zigzaggy bits a little bit darker than just kind of the translucent washi that it's showing. Now I do struggle with leaving this polka dot spot up here blank. I feel like I could have added more up there if I wanted to, just to give it a little bit of extra oomph, but ultimately I leave it plain. Now I am going to take my embossing ink from Brutus Monroe and place it through my stencil on top of some heat resistant vellum. I go in and I pull out all of my embossing powders, and as you can see, well, I have 2 embossing powder bins, but this one holds mostly, or all of it holds Brutus Monroe. My other embossing powder bin has a few other brands that I still like the color of, but honestly, you guys, Brutus Monroe embossing powder, it's the shiznit. It totally is worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and use some embossing powder on that. I grab my heat gun and I'm going to use it until my little bits get smooth and melted. Now I did not use an anti-static powder tool before I embossed on here, so I do have some stray bits of embossing powder. If I was worried about it, I could have brushed it off with a clean paintbrush, but as you can tell, I am not worried about it. I do kind of wiggle around the paper to try to get it to dry because I don't want to touch it and pull off the embossing powder. So I go ahead and get that done. I'm going to matte Wayne's photo right on top of the embossing powder and place it down on this page right here. And then my little pinwheels do overlap each other. And now I've got to get the title. So the title is going to be Wayne, How Did You Get to Disneyland? And I'm going to use varying letter stickers to make that happen. So I do start out with these thickers from Chamel, and what are these called? These are called Fairy Tale. So these must be from Head in the Clouds. And I don't know where in the world I am right now. What am I doing right now? Where are you, Sandy? So I am going to use these Head in the Clouds thickers. I don't know. Was I looking up some? Maybe I was texting. Who knows what in the world I was doing. So these Head in the Cloud thickers. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want my title to go. So I thought about putting it up at the top, but I didn't like it there. You couldn't really see the letters on the polka dotted paper, so that wasn't a good thing. I thought about making it a vertical title, but I didn't like that either, so I decided to put Wayne ? Right on top of the photo. Now, if this is something that gives you, you know, freaking out about it, like you're like, oh my word, I can't believe you put something directly on your photo, I would never do that, my photos are precious, precious memories, then please, by all means, do not put stuff over top of your photo. But I mean, honestly, guys, I mean, this is a picture of a random duck at Disneyland, so it's not like it's some super amazing, awesome photo. It's not like it's some heritage photo. It's not like it's irreplaceable. It's a duck. So I'm going to go ahead and place my Wayne on top of that. And as I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and add some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to the back of the letters to really stick it down on the photo. Now I am going to go ahead and use a 3 kind of upside down for an E. I do have an E on a second package, but honestly, I didn't feel like opening up the package for just one stinking letter. So I do put down a question mark and with the little dot right there. So we're going to make sure that that gets glued down as well. And then I'm using these pink, not pink, fresh. What are these? American Crafts. Who's that chick? Paige Evans. My mind is mush right now. I had a very, very long day at work. You name it, I did it at work today. So these Paige Evans little small thicker. So the entire quote is, Wayne, how did you get to Disneyland? And again, I'm going to use the 3 trimmed down a little bit and upside down and backwards for the letter E. And I'm also going to Frankenstein up a D because I didn't realize that I only had one D on this type and style of foam thicker. So I take a K, I think it's a K I grab, and I also grab a Q, and I trim that down so that I have half of a circle and a straight line, and then that is going to give me the letter D. Now I am also going to add just a little bit of journaling because our family would understand, Wayne, how did you get to Disneyland? That would make sense to us. But some people would look at this and be like, what in the world? How does this even fit into this album? The story is convoluted. Like, what sense does this even make? So I do grab my Muji pen, and it says, if you know our family, you know we name all of the birds we see at Disney. When we saw this duck, all we asked was how she got over here. So, you know, our family is a Disney World family. Now that we live in California, I wouldn't say that we are a Disneyland family. I did have an annual pass back when, you know, the place was open, and we did make the trip, and I used to go once a month. So that was a fun time. But most of the time we are a Disney World family. I am going to take this little sticker right here that says memories, and it's in a couple shades of blue. I'm going to layer that up over the washi tape just because I felt like there needed to be something a little bit more up here. And I'm actually looking through and trying to figure out what else I should do up at the top, just because it feels a little bit naked. There's like a big expanse up there. Now, I could have trimmed down my paper a little bit smaller, and that probably would have taken care of it. Or I could have embellished up there and put some other things. But honestly, you guys, this is a little filler page to go back on the other side of one of the 6x12 expansion pages that I did. So it doesn't need to be completely and totally amazing. So there it is. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and join the Scrapping Reflections Facebook group if you would like access to all of the Follow a Sketch February sketches early so you can play along. And thank you again, guys, for so much for watching, and I will see you again real soon for another video.